Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and in today's video we're going to be making this wave hat. It's a play off of my normal crochet fisherman's cap pattern, except it has the ripple stitch in it. So you can see it has this little ripple design. It looks intimidating. It's not actually that hard. It's mostly just increases and decreases, and every 2 rows is the same. So it's good for like an intermediate beginner. If that sounds good to you, keep on watching. And this is the second hat style. It's slightly shorter, so it kind of fits over the head without a brim. But I added a little stripe, and I really like how I did that. So if you want to make this style, that will be in the pattern as well. It's just the same thing, but with one less ripple repeat, basically. So for today's pattern, we're going to need worsted weight yarn, a 3.5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle. And today I'm going to be making the shorter size of the hat, but I will be displaying the pattern for the original hat, which is longer. So for the regular sized hat, chain 52, and for the shorter size hat, chain 40. For a cleaner edge, I always recommend crocheting in the back side of the chain. I didn't do that today just because I didn't have the time. It just takes a little bit extra effort. So to start off our pattern, we're going to start at the crown, and we're going to do 5 slip stitches. And then we're going to do 5 single crochet. Next, we're going to do 5 half double crochet. And that's it for the crown. Now we're going to start the ripple pattern. So first off, we're going to double crochet increase, so double crochet 2 in the same stitch. And then the pattern sequence is going to start, so we're going to double crochet 3, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet decreases. So to do that, you're going to start a double crochet, pull through 2 but don't finish it, and then start another double crochet, pull through 2, don't finish it, and then pull through all 3 stitches. And then we're going to do that again for a second decrease, and that creates our first dip in our ripple. Now we're going to double crochet 3, and do our first peak. So we're going to increase twice, which is just 2 double crochet in each stitch. And then we're just going to repeat that. So double crochet 3, and then 2 decrease, double crochet 3, increase, and I'll meet you at the end. At the end of our sequence, we're going to do a final double crochet 3 and then double crochet decrease 2, so that's 1 decrease, and then a second decrease. And then to end off our row, we're going to do the bottom edge here. So we're going to double crochet 3, and then we're going to increase in the final stitch. So there's going to be an increase at the beginning and at the end of the two sides of our ripple, and that just keeps the edges straight. So now we're going to chain up 2 and start our row 2. So from here on out, everything is going to be in the back loops only, and that's going to get that nice ribbed texture that we want. So we're going to double crochet 1 in the first stitch, and this is just the edge stitch, and we're going to start our sequence again. So we're going to double crochet 3 and then do a double crochet decrease 2, and we're going to repeat that sequence twice, and I'll meet you at the end. At the end of our sequence, it's just like row 1. We're going to do double crochet 3, and we're going to do a final decrease, so double crochet decrease 2, and then as the final edge to our pattern, we're going to double crochet 3, and then do a final increase in our last double crochet stitch. Then we'll transition back to the crown portion, which is going to be the 5 half double crochet, 5 single crochet, and 5 slip stitches. And at the top of the hat, we're going to chain 1 and turn. The rest of the hat is going to be exactly the same. We're just going to repeat round 1 and 2 for 46 rows or until your desired width is reached. And here I'm at the end of the 3rd row. It's just slightly different than the end of the 1st row. You remember at the end of the 1st row there was 4 stitches and we did 3 and then an increase. We're going to do the same thing here, so we're going to do 1, 2, and then 3 double crochet, except at the end of this row there's no stitch, but that chain 2 from the last row is our stitch, so we're going to increase in the top of this chain 2. Can be kind of hard to find there. You just gotta wiggle your way in, and then that's going to be an increase, and that's the only difference. So now we're just going to repeat row 2 on our way back, and that creates that nice straight edge. Here you can see it after I've done a good 15-20 rows, how the hat starts to bend and shape up with the different height of the stitches there. And you're just going to keep going for 46 rows, or as long as it takes to get around your head. And here I'm going to quickly show you how to change colors. So in the last stitch at the top, I'm going to enter that last slip stitch, and I'm going to drop my yarn, and I'm going to pick up my new color. I'm just going to lay that on top of the hook, and I'm going to pull that through the slip stitch and through the working loop to create a little slip stitch, and then I'm just going to chain up 1, turn, and start work as normal. Once you've completed your 46 rows or desired width, we're going to slip stitch up this side. It makes this a lot easier if you worked in the back side of the chain at the start, which I didn't do, as you recall, so this will be a little bit interesting to show. So we're going to go through the first stitch on one side and then the first stitch on the other side. And I'm going to pull the yarn through, and I'm going to complete a slip stitch. And I'm just going to slip stitch in every single stitch across the row. You should have the same number of stitches on each side. But again, it's a tiny bit harder to see on camera because I didn't work in the back side of the chain. But it should be stitch for stitch. And remember, this should be with right sides facing, so whichever side you think looks the best should be on the inside, and this slip stitch should be on the outside. As we come to the end of the row here, just remember that that chain 2 does count as a stitch. And then I'm just going to chain up 1 and cut my end. And I'll leave that to weave in later. But as you can see, on the right side, it totally blends in because of the ribbing we did. So you won't even be able to see where it ends or starts. To get rid of this color change, I'm just going to tie a double knot and clip it. Since it's going to be on the inside of the hat, if you care, you can weave in those ends. I just didn't want to. And now to sew up the top of the hat, I'm going to take a long strand of yarn, at least a foot, and I'm going to put it on a tapestry needle. And I'm going to insert my needle into these top little bumps here. And I'm going to leave a good little tail there to tie at the end. So I'm just going to go into each one of these little bumps, which represents 2 rows. Like that. And I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to pull it really tight like a drawstring bag. And then once we're at the very end, I'm just going to pull this really, really tight until I can get that hole as small as possible. It probably won't close all the way on this first pass, just because crochet is kind of bulky. So I'm going to make a double knot with that end there, and I'm going to pull it tight, tight, tight. And now I'm going to go around again a couple more times until I can get that hole to completely close. And here I've done that. I've made several knots along the way as well. So I'm just going to make a final knot with the end that's still there, make a tight little double knot. And then again, you could sew in these ends, but it's on the inside of a hat, so I'm just going to clip it. And now the only thing left to do is to sew in these ends at the bottom, which I will sew in. So I'm just going to place that end on a tapestry needle, and I'm just going to go up one of these rows of stitches. You can either go in through these double crochet, or you could just go up through the slip stitches that you just did when you closed the side. It doesn't really matter that much, and I probably go for like 5 to 8 stitches, and then I'm going to clip that end. And once you've sewn in your ends, we're just going to flip our hat right side out, and it's done. This is the shorter size of the pattern, so it sort of cuffs, but it's mostly meant to wear uncuffed. But here I show me trying to cuff it a little bit, but it wouldn't be a very wide brim on the shorter version. Here is the regular size of the hat with the wide brim. And as you can imagine, I had a lot of color changes on this one. And I'm just going to compare it to the shorter size. It is about 2 inches shorter, I believe. And yeah, that is the end of this video, you guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you make this hat. If you're looking for a written version of the pattern, that will be down below on my Etsy. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to leave them down below, or any suggestions of what I should make next. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!